Well, hello there. Welcome to Rusty's Sudoku stream. I got a little bit of a lag in between my speech and what I'm hearing back, but that's kind of normal here. It should not be affecting what's going out on the stream. We'll see. In any case, we have puzzle number 817 to do today. This is a medium difficulty puzzle, and that should be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to solve. Maybe less, maybe more. We'll see. We are at a quarter after, so I'm going to stick with a 20-second delay once I hit the validation button. And the clock runs, which it is now doing. So another 15 seconds to go here, or something like that. All right. 5 seconds. And there's time. All right, so one of these three will be a 1. I've got one of these 4s a 1. Here I've got 2 possibilities for a 1. 5 possibilities there. 5 possibilities here. And, well, 5 there. And 3 here. All right, so how about 2s? Get a 2 here. And that appears to be the only 2 on the board. It does not stop me from having a couple, or at least one place where we have only 2 possibilities. I've got 5 here and here, though. All of these are possibilities. I've got 4 possibilities here, all 5 here as well. 5 possibilities here and here. So on to 3s. We've got a 3 here, and here, and here. Up here, that set gives me 2 possibilities for 3 down here. 4 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. Up here I've got 3 possibilities. Oh, nope, I've got 2 possibilities for a 3 here, which means this becomes a 3. That gives me 2 possibilities here. Unfortunately, it still leaves me with 4 possibilities here. And that's all I've got for 3. So let's move on to 4. So we've got a 4 here. I've got 4 possibilities for a 4 here because I've got this 4 as well. Here I've got 4 possibilities for a 4. 3 here, I mentioned earlier. Here I've got 6 possibilities. I've got 2 possibilities for a 4 here. And here I've got 6 possibilities. All right. That's all I can really do with 4s. How about 5s? We got a 5 here and here. There's another 5 here, which means one of these 2 is going to be a 5. 5 here means one of these 2 will be a 5. This 5 and this 5 combined to say 2 possibilities for a 5 here. But I've got 4 possibilities down here and 3 possibilities here. So let's run through 6s. We got 6 there and there. One of these 2 will be a 6. Up here, I've got 4 possibilities. 2 possibilities here. All right, here I've got 3 possibilities and 4 possibilities here. Except that I do know that one of these two will be a 6 because this says this can't be a 6. But we'll move on. We'll take a look at 7s now. We've got a 7 here and here, which means this is a 7, which forces this one to be a 1, and this one becomes a 5. All right. One of these two is a 7. One of these two is a 7. I've got 3 possibilities here. And 5 possibilities here. So let's move on to 8s. I've got 2 8s there, meaning this one's going to be an 8. One of these two will be an 8. And let's also flag the 2 possible 4s there. Over here, this is blocked from 8. This is blocked. Oh, that can't be a 5 now, so that's a 5. This becomes an 8. So not an 8 here. That's a 4. This becomes an 8. Now let's back that up. Two possibilities for 6. We've got 2 possibilities for an 8 here, not just the 1. All right, let's see. That can't be an 8, so one of these two is to be an 8. And up here, one of these two gets to be an 8. Over here, one of these 3, one of these 2 is a 9. One of these 2 is a 9. All of these are blocked. We've got a 9 here blocking that one, so this is a 9. That means this is a 9, which turns that into a 9. And that, nope, not that one. That becomes a 9. All right, so there's going to be a 9 in here. And that's going to be this one. This can't be a 9 anymore. That can't be a 9. All right. Let's see. We had a 4-7 pair here. One of these two is a 1. These are blocked. These are blocked. I've got 3 possibilities for a 1 here, 3 possibilities here. 5 possibilities for a 1 here. No, 3 possibilities for a 1 here. This blocks these two. This one blocks this one. That means over here I've got 3 possibilities for a 1. One of these two is a 1. And I've got 3 possibilities for a 1 here. 4 possibilities, or no, I've got a 1 here. 3 possibilities here. All right, 2s again. So let's come up here. One of these two is a 2. Still showing 4 possibilities for a 2 here. And well, now 4 possibilities for a 2 here as well. 5 possibilities for a 2 here. 4 possibilities here. All 5 of these, nope, 3 of these can become a 2 now. We've got, these 2 are blocked from being a 2. So I've got 3 possibilities for a 2 here. This can't be a 2. I've got 4 possibilities for a 2 here. And yes, we already mentioned the 5 possibilities here. 3s. We've got a pair of 3s there, pair of 3s here. 3 possibilities for a 3 here. Probably going to have to be controlled by whatever we get up here. All right. All right. One of these two is going to be a 4. One of these two is a 4, so one of these two, this one's going to be a 4. That gets to be a 1. All right, I'm missing a 2. Any one of these three can be a 2. All right, that being a 4 says this becomes a 7 and this becomes a 4. Over here we've got a 4 here, so one of these two is going to be a 4. All right, anything else? I'm going to note that one of these two gets to be a 1 because I don't want to break that 4-8 pair. One of these two is an 8. Again, I've got 4 possibilities for a 4 here. Back up here, we do have the 5 here. How about 3 possibilities for 2, 2 for 3, 2 for 4, 5 here. So do we get anything with 6s? One of these 3 is going to be a 6. One of these 3 is going to be a 6 as well. Haven't worked out which of those. And that's still a possibility. So about 7s, we got a 7 here. One of these two is an 8, and we get a 9. All right, one of these two is a 7. I've got 4 possibilities for a 1. All 5 of these can be a 2. We end up with the 2 possibilities for a 3. The 4 and the 5 are givens. And I am currently showing 4 possibilities for a 6. I've got 2 possibilities for a 7, and an 8 and 9 are givens. All right. Got a 1 here, 5 possibilities for 2. 3 is going to be one of these 4. 4 is going to be one of these 4. 5 is going to be one of these 2. 6 is going to be one of these 3. Not one of these 2, but this one and these 2. 7 here. One of these 2 is an 8. We get a 9 here. We're going to have to see if I can narrow down what goes in these possibilities shortly. All right, here we've got 4's blocking here. One of these 2 is a 4 because this 4 blocks these 2. How about 1? We've already got 3 possibilities for 1. 4 possibilities for 2 here. 2 possibilities for 3, 2 for 4. I've got 3 possibilities for 7, so I'm going to unmark that 7. 8 and 9. 4 possibilities for a 7. All right, and can we do anything more here? So one of these 2 is a 1. Everything's open for 2. One of these 2 is a 3. 4 and 5 are here. 6 is going to be one of these 5. or 4. One of these two is a 7, 8, 9. All right, let's flood everything else in. So one of these two is a 1. That's going, well, that'll help at some point. What 2s? Any one of these 3 can be a 2. 3, 4, 5, so 6s. Any one of these 3 can be a 6. All right, so we've got a couple possibilities for 1. 4 possibilities for 2. Except that can't be a 2 or a pair. That means that can't be a, oh, nope, that isn't a 4. 6s. Those. All right. Back to, we got a pair of 4s, 5, 6. So neither of these get to be a 6. I've got 3 possibilities for 6, 7. Well, these two is an 8 and a 9 here. All right, so 3 possibilities for 1. Currently, everything's open for 2. 3, 4 here. One of these two is a 5. We've got 2 possibilities for a 6. 3 possibilities for a 7. Neither of these get to be a 7, so that's a 7. 8 and 9, so we can move on. Oh, 4, 2 says this can't be a 2, so one of these two will be a 2. 1, 5. Neither, this can't be 1 or 5. 2, 3, 4. Can't be a 5, a 6. So that means this one's going to be a 7, I believe. Because 8 and 9 are already in here. So validate that again. Got a 1 here. One of these two is a 2. One of these two is a 3. Oh, we got a 3 here. 4, 5, 6. So one of these two is a 7. 8 and 9. So one's here. I get to flood in the 2s, except that doesn't get to be a 2. Those 3 is, or 4 is a 2. One of these 2 is a 5. 6. That can't be a 7. These can't be a 7. So one of those two is a 7, and an 8 and 9. This one can't be a 5, and it's a 5-7 pair so far. So this one becomes a 7, not a 7. This is a 5. This one becomes a 1. Hold it. Nope. All right. One of these two is a 1. One of these two is a 2. One of these 4 is a 2. One of these two is a 3. These two is a 4. Got 5 here and here. 6. One of these two is a 7. 8 and 9. So this becomes a 7. Not a 7 here. 1 5 here. 1 5 up here. All right. Not a 7 here. That's a 7. Not a 7 here. That's a 7. That makes this an 8. This a 5. Not an 8 here, so this makes this into a single or stand alone 8. That can't, no, that can be a 6. So we've got 2 possibilities for a 6 now. Oops, that can't be a 6, so that is a 6. That means this is a 6. We get to relieve those two. So 1 2 pair here. 2 3 pair here. That becomes a 3. This becomes a 4. And we're down to the 1 2 pair there. This can no longer be an 8, so it is a 4. This is an 8. That 4 means this is a 2. This is a 4. This can no longer be an 8, so that's an 8. This is a 6. And this becomes a 2, except that blocks that. All right. I am starting back at the beginning because I am not sure where I botched this. So we're just going to go through and flood fill everything this time. Ones. We've got a 1 in one of these 3 or 4. One of these 3 is a 1. One of these 3 is a 1. I've got 2 possibilities for a 1 there. 5 possibilities for a 1 here. Up here I've got 5 possibilities. Here we've got 5 possibilities for a 1. Catching myself mouth breathing. Annoying. Ah, well. Okay. We are done with 1s for now. One of these 2 is a 2. That means I've got 5 possible 2s here. Another 5 possibilities for a 2 here. Here we've got 5 possibilities, different from the one before. And it looks like I get the same possibilities for a 2 in here. Everything's open to be a 2 here. 4 possibilities for 2 here. Twos in all the squares now, including that one. All right, 3s. We've got a 3 here, here, and here. And here. These 2 is a 3. One of these 4 is a 3. Okay. One of these two is a 3. Which means one of these two is a 3. Since one of those two is a 3, that can't be a 3. I've got 5 possible 3s here. No, I've got just the 4 possible 3s. Here we've got 2 possibilities, 2 possibilities. All right, 4s. That's a possible 4. Both of these are possible. Okay, that can't be a 3. One of these 4 is going to be a 4. Got 4 here. Okay. That can't be a 4, so we've got 6 possible 4s here. Up here, we've got 2 possible 4s. Here, I've got 6 possible 4s. I've got 5 possibilities for a 4 here. Fours there, and up here, here. All right, 5s. Got a 5 here. 4 possible 5s here. These 2 is a 5. And I've got 2 possibilities for a 5 here. All right, 4 possible 5s in this one. Nope, that's not it. So 2 possible 5s here. Done with that row. Five here, so down here we've got 3 possible 5s. Sixes. Got 6 here, 6 here. One of these 2 is a 6. One of these 3 is a 6. We've got 4 possible 6s here. And my eyes are fading out on me. I've been up since I solved 816 yesterday. And so that puts me in an unsustainable position. Okay, one of these two is a 5. One of these two is a 5. One of these two is a 5. All right, 6s. 6 here, here. One of these two is a 6. I've got 4 possible 6s there, and 3 here, 6 given there. So these two can't be a 6. One of these 5 is a 6. We are flood filling, so everything here that could be a 6 gets a 6. Oh, got a 6 there. That means one of you two is a 6 up here. All right, 7s. One of these two is a 7, not this one. So that's a 7. And the middle row is done. One of these two will be a 7. I've got 2 possibilities for a 7 here. That means one of, nope. 3 possibilities for a 7 there. Okay, those two can't be a 7, so I've got one of these 2 and one of these 3. Those 2 is a 7. And over here, I've got 2 possibilities. Well, I'm going to go with 4 possibilities for a 7. Over here, 7 there. Eight, 8. One of these 3 is an 8. That can't be an 8. None of these can be an 8, so one of these 3 is an 8. And this becomes an 8, which means not an 8 there. 4, 2 pair here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This 3 is an 8. Five, 1, 4. Oop, not a 4. All right. 1 here. 2 possibilities for a 4. 2, 3. Those 3 is a 4. This one becomes a 5. 8. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one of these two is an 8. To go with the 4. Or 2 here, so not a 4 here. That becomes a 7. Clean up 7s, 3s, and 7s up here. This becomes a 1 and a 5. And we are missing a 9. This can't be a 9. So the 1 and the 5 up the top are not quite right. This can't be a 9, so this one gets to be a 9. One of these two is a 9. One of these two is a 9. Okay. Not a 2 there because I've got the 2 possibilities here, plus 1 here. I'm going to put both of these 2 back, take that 4 out. That means I've got a 4 there. Clean up 4s over here. One, 2, 6, 2, 6, 1, 2, 6, 1, 2, 6, and I'm missing a 7, which is going to be this one. Which means that's not a 7, that one is. That's not a 7, that either. Got a 7 there, not a 5 here or here. Up here, neither of these are a 1. Not a 1, not a 4 here, not a 1 or a 4 here, because these two. That turns that into a 2. This becomes an 8, 6. That's not a 6, is it? That's not a 6 either. Well, one of them has to be a 6, but I've got problems, don't I? All right. How are we doing in time? 40 minutes. Backing this all the way up. One of the problems I'm having is keeping track of what number I'm on and where I am. Please don't solve puzzles like this. Tired? This should not be a difficult puzzle. The fact that I'm having these troubles means that my time is probably going to not do too well. But we'll keep plugging away. Okay, 2s are covered. 3s. Hole in the middle. Row. 3 possibilities here. 5 possibilities here. 2 possibilities here, so these 2 are not, that is. These 3 are not. Those 2 is. Okay, we've got a 3 here, 3 here. One of these 2 is a 3. 4 possibilities for 3 here. These 2 is a 3. I've got a 3 here. One of these 2 will be a 3. 4. All right. 6 possibilities for a 4 here. 4 possibilities down here. 3 figured out there already. 2 here. All right, on to 5s. All right, let's do with 5s. That's all I can do with that. 6s. Okay, 6 there and there means one of these two is a 6. 6 there means one of these 5 is a 6. Down here, one of these 3 is a 6. Here we are going to have 4 possible 6s. Two possible 6s here. Okay, 7s. That's a 4 we can clean up. There. These two will be a 7. 4 possibility, or 3 possibilities there. Oh, 4. 2 possibilities there. 3 possibilities there. Eight. This one's going to be an 8. So now I got a 4, 2 here. That means this one gets to be a 9. Well, we were looking at 8s right now. One of these two. This one gets to be an 8. That means one of these. This one gets to be a 9. And one of these 3 is an 8. One of these 3 is an 8. We'll go ahead and mark these two as possible 8s. because they're all that's left of that. 9s, one of these two. This one gets to be a 9. This gets to be a 9. This is a 9. So 4, 1, 8, 5. Four, 2 there, makes that a 7. Not a 4 here. 1, 5, 1, 5. Ah, 2 here, 4 here. So not a 4 there or there. One, 4, 5. Not a 5. So not a 4 there, not a 5 there. 6, 2 pair. 7, 6, 2 pair here. So not a 6 or 2 here. 6 or 2 here. So that's a 1. That's not a 1. Not a 2 here. Not a 1. So that's a 7, 4, 6, 2 pair. Not a 1 there, there, or there. Not a 4 here. Not a 4 here, here, or here. Not a 1 here. Not a 1 there. Not a 1, not an 8. Not a 7, not an 8. That becomes a 7. Not a 7 there. Got a 7 to clean up there as well. Three. 6, 4. Yeah, that 4, that's 6. Not a 6 there or there. 2 here, 1, 8, and 3 there. Not a 6, not a 1. 2 and 7 as a result. Not a 2 or 7 here. Not a 2 here. I'm going to go with 6 here. Oh, not a 6. 5 there. 1 and 6 there. 4, 2, not a 5 here. 4, 2, not a 1 or not a 2 or 3. Not a 2, not a 1. So 1, 5, 3. That makes this one a 3. Not there. Not a 5. Eight, 2, 2, 2. Not a 3 there, so 5 and 2 here. Not a 4, 5, 2 here, so that's an 8. Not a 5 there, so we get a 4, 6 pair. 4, 2, 4, 2, so this becomes a 6. 4 here. Number 1. Not a 6, that's a 2, so not a 2 here or here. 6 and 1 here. 6 here, 2 here. 6 here. 7 here, 2 here. 4 and 5. Nope, not a 5. About a 2. 55 minutes and 33 seconds. That's what I get for starting one of these when it's time for me to go to bed. I'm thinking it's time for me to go to bed, so I'm going to set up my report to get tomorrow's puzzle posted, and we will catch up with you again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. I'm Rusty. This is Rusty's Sudoku channel, or Sudoku stream. We try to do this every night, a little after midnight my time. Take care. Bye-bye.